Now, my dear student, most welcome to you all in this online class. As you know, today's main topic of our study is Indian secularism. Secularism means a concept, an idea in which all the religions get equal place. No religion is given a special place, right? In India, there are different types of religion, religious community. All have their own symbols, as you are looking at here. Now, as you are looking at here our country's map is here, Indian map is here. And these are the symbols of different religions, those who are living here, I mean the people, the followers of these religions living here. You see different religious buildings are here, temples, here Gurudwara, mosque. So in this way, people have the freedom to follow their own religion, manage their own religious activities, work. We all religious group of people, no doubt we have the difference in the name of the religion, but we are one. Here, all these four are the representative of four different religions, which says they are equally enjoy the facilities given on the name of religion. And this one, you see, the different groups of religious people are living together and all of them have the equal values. So in short, you should learn Indian secularism means an idea which believes that all religions have the equal values in the society, in the country. People have the freedom to follow any religion. There is no compulsion to follow any religion against his or her own, I mean against his or her views or will or choice. We have the freedom of religion. So these are the main features or meaning of secularism. So in short, you have to learn secularism is a concept, is an idea which believe that all religions have the equal values. There is no discrimination in the name of religion among the people. People have the freedom to follow any religion. No one can compel them to change or to follow any religion. So this is the concept, this is the meaning of Indian secularism. But before starting it, I would like to recapitulate one remaining part of your chapter that is related with the directive principle of state policy. 4 points you have to learn about the significance of directive principle of state policy. Here you should learn there are some directive principles of state policy which are made the law, which were changed into rules and regulations. No doubt, all the directive principles are not turned into law and rule, but there are some principles, directive principles of state policy, which are turned into rules and regulations. What are these 4 or 5 points you should learn? First of all, as we know, in directive principle of state policy, it is said that all people should have to be educated. Here, education was made or is made compulsory by the people, by the government. So first, directive principle of state policy that was turned into rules and regulation is right to fundamental has become a fundamental right, right? Right to education or has been made a fundamental right. First point. What is the question? Question is, many directive principles have been implemented as a law, right? What are these directive principles of state policy? Or mention some of the directive principles of state policy which have become either the legislation or fundamental rights. So here, 4-5 points you have to learn. First, right to education has become a fundamental right. Second, Environment Protection Act and Wildlife Protection Act has been passed. That is why so many wildlife sanctuary, national parks, all these have been set up to take care of the animals, wild animals, etc. Third point is what? National Commission for the Welfare of Women has been established. Now, it is also a welfare work for the proper progress and protection of women's interests. Fourth is right to work has been implemented for rural employment. As you know, one of the directive principal policies is what? Everyone should get the means of livelihood. So the poor, poverty-stricken people, those who are unemployed, they are given the work under the right to work to the people. Right to work has been implemented for the rural employed under MNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, MNREGA. Sometimes question comes, what does MNREGA stands for? You will have to say the term MNREGA stands for MNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So in this way, these are the 4 points, these are the 4 proofs, right, that is related to the directive principle of state policy, which has been changed into rules and regulations. Is it clear? Thanks. Now come to the main point, secularism, about which you are studying. Now next is secularism, right? Means of secularism. What is the meaning of secularism? Just now I have said secularism is an idea where all religions have equal place. No religion is the state religion, and there is religious freedom in the state where people can follow any religion. Whatever picture you are looking at in the slide, it is sufficient to indicate or clear the meaning of this fact, right? So here someone is praying, someone is, all of them are praying, but they are different ways. They have the different ways to pray. You are saying it means everyone is free to follow or to manage their own religious activities. There is no compulsion, there is no restriction on behalf of the government, and no people can interfere in this matter to disturb others. Is it okay? So in this way you have to learn the meaning of secularism is what? Secularism is an idea according to which all religions have the equal place in the state or in the country. There is no special religion like state religion. What do you mean by state religion? If any religion is declared as the main religion of the nation by the state, by the government, this type of religion is known as the state religion. If any religion is declared in such a way, it means all the people of the country must have to follow the religion, the same religion. In such case, people had no freedom to follow their own religion or the religion as per their own wish, where there is state religion. But in India, there is no state religion, because in secularism, there no religion is declared as the state. Is it clear? So in this way, secularism means an idea which believes that all religions have the equal place in the state. There is no special religion or state religion. People have right to freedom of religion, according to which they are free to follow it. Okay, so in this way, this is the meaning. Now, next point is, there are two aspects of Indian secularism. Sometimes this type of question is asked. Now, how many types of aspects are there? What are the main two features of the secularism? So 2 points are written here, you should learn. First is, people are free to believe in and practice any religion. Right? People have freedom to believe in and practice any religion, and they have freedom to manage their own religious affairs, activities. If any religious ceremony is to be organized, if any religious activity is to be done by any people, they are free. Now, second point is what? State will not discriminate against any person or group on the ground of religion. What does it mean? It means people have freedom, and no religion is given a special place. State does not discriminate, does not create differences on the name of religion. It means no people of any particular religion is given more importance, right? This is the meaning of no discrimination on the name of religion. Okay, in this way, two main questions you have learned here. First, the meaning of secularism, and second, how many aspects of Indian secularism are there. I hope your view is clear. Now, next point you see, guarantees of secularism in Constitution, right? There are some rules and regulations which guarantees that secularism is to be followed, right? The impartial attitude of being secular has been guaranteed in several ways of various places in Constitution, right? What have you learned as per the meaning and aspects of secularism? You have learned that government is impartial. I mean, do not or does not intervene in the matter of religion. How can you say, what is the guarantee that government does not interfere in that matter, or let the people free to follow the religion as per their choices? So these are the four guarantees, four proofs that government is impartial in relation to secularism, in the context with secularism. Have you understood? First, in the preamble, liberty of belief, faith, and worship is mentioned. What does it mean? Liberty means freedom. Freedom of belief. It means all people are free to believe in any religion, either Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Jainism, so on and so forth. So liberty of belief. Next, faith. They can believe in any religion, and others worship. They are free to worship anywhere as per their wish. So this is the guarantee that government is impartial. I mean, government does not favor to any special group or a religious community or any special religious community people. Second is, Constitution gives us fundamental rights. It is also a guarantee of secularism because some provisions of the fundamental rights have given us freedom of religion. Freedom of speech you have learned, right to freedom, the different types of freedom we have in which one is related with religion. Now next is equality before law, equal opportunity to secure job despite religious differences. This is the law, this is the rule in our constitution, and it is also a guarantee to have the impartial attitude of the government toward the secularism, in which all people are made free to avail the opportunity for their progress equally without any differences in the name of religion. Government does not say that any special group of any special group of the people of religion like Hindu, Muslims, Christian will get such and such job. Government publish the qualification for any job, and if people is capable or have their qualification, they can avail equal opportunity to have the job, to get seat in the competition or competitive examination, and can get success. So on the religious ground, nothing is said in this regard. Now next is right to freedom of religion. As we know, it is one of the fundamental rights of us. Right to freedom of religion is one of the important guarantee of the impartiality or impartial attitude of the government towards secularism. I mean, people are made free to follow any religion. So this is the four guarantees which prove that government is impartial, and this is mentioned in Constitution. Now next, what is the significance of secularism? This type of question is also comes. There are 4 and 5 significance, importance of secularism that is mentioned here. There are so many, but here 5 points I have given the place in the slide. First, secularism is important because it is essential for healthy existence of pluralistic society. Pluralist society like India. Here, pluralist society means a society where many types of community live. Pluralist means here many types. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christians, now Buddhist, Chinese, all this type of community lives in India and they make our society. Such a type of society is known as pluralist society. And in our country, these different types of community live together. So they can live together with a healthy environment, in very good and peaceful environment. There is need to have the sense of respect to each other's religion. If we will be hostile to each other, if we will be reluctant to each other, if we will be enemy of each other, we cannot live together in society peacefully. We have to respect all the religions equally, and in this regard we see secularism plays very important role, because secularism allows us to show respect to each and every religion equally. So in short, we can say that secularism is very, very important for healthy existence of pluralist society like India. Now next, it enables people of different religions to live in harmony with other faiths. Harmony means with cooperation and coordination together. So it helps the people of different religions to live peacefully with each other and believe the faith they have to faith in each other. So then unity, integrity can be developed and they can live together peacefully and progressively. Now next is, secularism is a part of democracy which grants equal rights. As we know, liberty, equality, fraternity, these are the three basic requirements of democracy. I mean, it gives this right to the people. And equality is provided by secularism. How? Because secularism says all religions are equal. We have to believe equally. Is it clear? So it is very important. Next is, it is helpful to protect the rights given to the minorities, right? Protect the rights given to the minorities. Minorities like Sikh, Muslim, Christian, so and so forth. This right protects, save their interest. Minorities cannot be exploited, cannot be dominated. Their right cannot be infringed by the majoritarian. That is why this right is given to the people of India. In spite of having the member of minority group, they are free to follow any religion. No majority group people can compel minority to change their religion as per the secularism. So it protects the rights given to the minority. Next is, safeguard democracy by limiting the power of majority. Actually, secularism brings a restriction or limit to the behavior of majority, especially in the field of religion, against the minority. Now next, you are going to learn one very important aspect of your chapter is what? Indian secularism. Government does not follow the policy of non-interference strictly. Very clearly you have to mind this point. Just now I have told you, as per the concept of secularism, the government does not interfere into religious matter. But here what is written? Government does not follow the policy of non-interference strictly. What does it mean? It means sometimes government interfere in the religious matter of the country. These are the exceptional cases. And what is the main motto, basic aim behind the interference of the government in religious affairs or matters? Only to respect and protect religious sentiments by the government. To protect and respect the religious sentiments of the people, government interferes. If the religious interest, activities, or religious right is disturbed by any people, in this case, government interfere. If any matter is related with the religious symbols, religious faith or belief of any person, and sometimes it goes against some rules, the government allows such person to follow it, follow their religious sentimental symbols. For example, suppose you are said to come to school in school uniform, no cap, no long hair, etc., no cap, no pagadi, no turban, but Sikhs are allowed, because Sikhs are allowed because to wear pagadi is their symbol. So sometimes we have seen, or you have seen, that the Sikh ground related, I mean Sikh student are allowed to come in school with their pagadi. So now these are main points you have to know. Sikh are allowed to keep Kirpan as a religious symbol. With arms you cannot move anywhere if you have not the license, or if you have a license also, you cannot go every place with their arms. But Sikhs are allowed because Kirpan is their religious symbol. Next thing, they are allowed to wear pagadi in schools and institutions. Next, some personal laws are amended, reformed by the state. For example, right to inheritance, right? Right to inheritance. So in this way, next stage, some special grants for some religious community are also permissible. You have learned in the main features of secularism, the government does not, I mean, no any school or college that is funded by the government can impart religious education. But sometimes what happens, some special grants are given to religious communities for their proper progress, if it is very urgent for them. So these are the justification that proves the government does not follow the policy of non-interference strictly. Now, actually, this is the on the slide, a question is based on, and your question of exercise is question number 3. Why does government sometimes make exceptions to help a particular religious community? Justify your answer with examples from recent times, right? So these are the best answers. By the help of these slides and your concentrated listening, you can frame. Now, these are some important questions, home assignment. Actually, this is the home assignment. May I not send you any homework through Snap homework, because this is your homework of today's online class. What is meant by secularism highlights the two aspects of secularism. How does the Constitution guarantee to secularism? Explain the significance of secularism. The government sometimes make exceptions to help a particular religious community. Justify the statement with the examples. So all these questions are answered just now. Okay. Now